Welcome to this morning's live stream. I'm going to get started in a minute. I just need to let everybody know that the stream is currently on the air. Okay, I've let everybody on social media know that the stream is currently on the air, and I'm going to get into today's topic where I'm going to talk a little bit more about the situation as related to my heart and my health. Now, in early July, I had a heart attack, and the doctors who did the surgery on me are telling me that I have heart failure. And with heart failure, it's a situation where you can it be in a spectrum where you can live either a couple of months or you could go about 30, 20 years. So it's a situation that is a major health condition that doctors have to really deal with over time. And the scary part about it is I don't know how much time I actually have left on this earth, but I'm going to try to do what God wants me to do in this time on this earth. And I'm going to try to do whatever work that God allows me to do in that time. Now, over the last month, I have been trying to deal with this situation as related to this heart attack I had in July and the heart failure diagnosis. And I went to the hospital and they put a stent inside of my chest. They put two stents inside of my chest. And that's how they dealt with the issues with my heart that were affecting it. And I've been taking a lot of medicine. And because a lot of this medicine really makes me drowsy and a lot of this medicine really makes me sleepy, what happens is I really cannot make videos like I used to, because it used to be I would be in my room basically making 3 to 4 videos a day, and I would usually make about 14 to 16 videos a day, because when it comes to YouTube, you just have to keep making videos because of, one, the algorithm, and two, the AI with the monetization. Now, the AI with the monetization, it can basically go out here and put a gold $sign on a video that's practically harmless, all because of the title that was written. And because there's a certain title, what can happen is you can wind up with that video demonetized, and you could wind up losing a lot of money. And that was part of one of the reasons why I started to get a lot of stress ever since about 2022, where things as related to my financial situation started to get really bad. Now, I had a lot, I was doing pretty well for a while, but then things just fell off after the pandemic as related to book sales. And as things fell off as related to book sales and things fell off with YouTube, I basically started to become more stressed. And as I became more stressed, I started to get this whole situation with anxiety around 2023. And this anxiety situation, I thought it was something that I could work through. I thought it was something that I could deal with because I've had anxiety in the past, and I thought I could deal with that whole anxiety situation. Unfortunately, I thought I was out of the woods, but this month, what in July, just what happened was things just took a turn for the worse, and my heart just started to fall apart. And the whole thing is, I felt like I had thrown up 3 times. I felt like my body was being torn apart, and I was trying to work through things, but I couldn't work through things. And so I decided to go to the City MD here in New York, and they told me that, you know, my heart wasn't getting enough oxygen-rich blood. So what I did was I just decided to just check into the hospital and have them try to work with this. And then that's where I got the diagnosis of not only heart failure, but I also got the diagnosis of having type 2 diabetes. And this is where I was for most of the month of July. I was in the hospital. And after I came out of the hospital, I was starting this whole thing with medicine. And as I started the medicine again, the medicine really made me drowsy. So I was trying to, you know, get myself back together, but as related to just my health. And I'm still trying to get myself back together as related to my health, because it's a long road. And again, it's a long road that I don't know how much time I have on this road. But I'm still trying to stay on this road as related to things. I'm still trying to stay, you know, in this game as long as I can, because, you know, I really want to just try to stay alive as long as God lets me to live. But, you know, you're only here as long as He lets you to be here. So that's what it is. And, you know, I think about that, you know, as related to things. I think about, you know, my life and stuff. And it just makes me really, really think about, you know, one thing I wanted, you know, ever since I was a kid was a job. And that was one of the things that caused a lot of the stress that led to this whole situation, was because I had, ever since about 2008, been looking to try to get another job after I lost that job. And that was another thing that added to the stress that I had, is that I just wanted to go back out here, and I always wanted to go out here and work. I always wanted to go out here and have, you know, that paying job. I always wanted to, you know, be able to build a life. That's one of the things I wanted to do. And when I got this heart failure diagnosis, it really made me realize, you know, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's one of those things I've had to accept as related to things, is I had to accept, you know, not going to be able to get that job I always wanted to get, and I'm not going to be able to, you know, do certain things, because when you have a heart failure situation, I mean, it's a very iffy situation. I mean, again, you don't know when the end is going to come, but you know that there is going to be an end, and that is the scariest part about having heart failure, is that you don't, that, you know, one day it's all going to be over and there's nothing you can really do about it. And that's what I'm dealing with partially right now. And I'm also, you know, just trying to get myself back together. And I mean, everything in my life is about to change, and it's changing, you know. I mean, again, I used to do, 14 videos a week for you guys. And again, I was doing that. I was working at that breakneck pace because of the money for YouTube. It really ain't that much money. I mean, to make $300, you have to make so many videos, and you have to keep making videos in order to, again, keep the content flowing. You got to keep the content going. You got to keep the content, you know, coming. And that's one of the things that led to me having those health issues right now, is that my mother was telling me, you know, you're working too hard, but you know, I'm the only person who can take care of me, and that's what I always believed, is I was the only person who could take care of me, because, you know, in this world, if you can't get a job, you have to find some way to make a living, and that's what I was trying to do. I was just, you know, trying to make a living with the YouTube, trying to make a living by writing books, and that's why I was writing so many books. I mean, ever since about 2008, I mean, I wrote over 80 books, and most writers don't write that many books. I was talking to one of the comic artists I was working with back in December of last year. He's like, you know, most writers don't really write that many books. They write maybe 3, maybe 4 books, or maybe sometimes even just 5 in their whole careers. But I was out here just working hard every year, you know, doing 4, maybe 5 books a year, because I understood that, like, in the publishing industry, you know, books usually, if one book make money, you need the other ones to make money. You know, it's like I've always said about the 90-10 rule. I've always said that, you know, 90% of books sell, and it's the 10% that wind up paying for the other 90% lose. And that's a major part of what was driving me, along with not being able to find work. It was one of those things that I was just trying to do these things, but I didn't really understand. I was just trying to just work, and I didn't understand, there's so much stress that's on someone from, from that whole situation. And that stress was basically the thing that was killing me. It was just, it basically, your body can only do but so much. And that's what was happening to me for the last 2 years, is that my body was just saying, I'm tired. I want to rest. I don't want to do this anymore. But the whole thing is, my mind was going, I need to get this money. I need to get paid. I need to get a way to make a living. That's what was driving me so hard. Was I was saying to myself, I need to make money. I need to take care of myself. I need to handle my business as a man. And that was one of those things. Another thing that was driving me is I wanted to go out here and show how I could be a man by going out here and being able to take care of myself. That was another thing that was driving me, but I couldn't really see that the stress was, compounded as related to that situation. I couldn't see how that stress was just overtaking me. I couldn't see, it was just doing, severe damage to my body. I couldn't see how it was doing, because I had this tunnel vision. And as I had that tunnel vision, I couldn't, as related to just trying to focus on making a living, it just was a thing. I couldn't see what it was doing to me. And it's, I think this happens to a lot of, Black men out here. A lot of us, we want to just go out here and just make a living out here in this job market, but we run into so many obstacles. We run into so much racism. We run into so much discrimination that what it does is it makes us, so stressed that we don't understand that this stuff is killing us. I mean, we don't see it. I mean, Ringo talked about it a while back about how the stress was the killer. And I can now understand why Kevin Samuels wound up dying so young, because that stress is just, it's overwhelming. And I have been, when you're out of work for over 17 years, that's a lot of stress on a man. I mean, most people, they can get a job within about 6 months to a year. I mean, I'm hearing for some brothers, they're saying that, they had to deal with this for 2-3 years. There was like reminded me of my college days. They reminded me of, when I came out of college. It's like, you want to go out here and make that living. You want to go out here and be able to, move on with your life. You want to move on to different stages. You want to focus on, an agenda that you have planned for yourself. You want to go out here, and do things. But the whole thing is, you run into so much resistance because so many people in this, especially this white supremacist system, they see a Black man and they're thinking all about all the stereotypes they project onto you. And this is from my own personal experience. They project all this stuff onto you, saying that, I remember one job that's like, oh, you're lazy, you're not doing anything. It's like, I'm not doing anything because I haven't been trained to do anything. And then there's other people, like you get some of these Black bootlicks out here, these Black elite types. They want to keep you out of a job because they want to be the H nicest in the business. They want to be the ones who run the show. They want to be out here, again, running everything. And they don't want anybody who's not a Jack and Jill or an AKA or whatever. They don't want anybody out here working with them. And that's what I ran into with Strive, is that, again, you run into these things. And again, when you're a Black man, you're trying to go out here and you want to go out here and again, do those things, like just basic things that white people take for granted. I mean, white folks go out here, and even some of these illegals, they can go out here, get themselves a job, and nobody's going to give them a hard time. But when a Black man, just goes to try to apply for the most menial of jobs, I mean, stuff like Target, stuff like, many of these retail jobs, we'll go out here and everybody want to give us a hard time. I mean, everybody want to talk about how you're going to mess things up. But the whole thing is, you can have your little white friend over here. You can have your little minority friend over here. They can mess things all the way up. I mean, they can really literally ruin the company, and it's perfectly fine. But if a Black man just as much wants to just work in that company, oh, it's a problem. And that's one of those things that, I didn't understand the impact it was having on my, my physical health. I mean, they didn't understand how it was affecting, my everyday thing. Because I was just sitting up there, just in just going out here, just trying to do things every day. And another thing I was doing was eating a lot of junk food. I know I shouldn't have been eating a lot of junk food, but the whole thing was that, when you're really stressed about things and you're really stressed out here, because when you're a black man, you got to deal with so much crap from people. I mean, if it's not, the people denying you jobs, it's the chicks being nasty to you. It's so much that black men have to deal with. And again, it just affects your physical health. I mean, it just affects things that you don't even know are going on. You don't know that this is affecting you. You think it's, well, like I was thinking, I was just thinking it was just anxiety. You don't know that your body is just, it's wearing down, it's tearing itself apart, it's falling apart. You don't see that happening behind the scenes, that your body can only take but so much. And that's really what happened to me, is that it was the stress and stuff like that. I believe this is what I believe was happening. I mean, just you deal with so much stress as a black man in this society. I mean, you want to go out here, you want to go out here and work, you want to go out here and do things, and you drive yourself, you push yourself, and you're pushing. And that's what I was doing. I was pushing myself to even beyond the limits that most people have. Again, I go back to, what I was doing with books. I mean, again, I started out, I only had 3 books that I had written. I mean, I had Sandra Cook book, I had All About Maryland, I had The Temptation of John Haynes. I was just, when I was working at CUNY, I was only going to publish those 3 books with a print-on-demand company and call it a day. And that was going to be it. And I was going to commit to that job. But then things fell apart when this guy wanted his smooth world. He couldn't stand, a guy looking down, and he thought I was sleeping, and it just cost me that job. And then, I thought I would be able to get another job again. But in 17 years, I have not found another job or even found an employer who wants to take a chance. I haven't found an employer. And that's the thing that really pissed me off, is that these people, they're real cowards. They just don't want to take no risks. I mean, you'll take a risk on an illegal, you'll take a risk on a black woman, you'll take a risk on a white guy, you'll take a risk on a white chick who basically will just sit there and just blow you off. But when a black man comes to the job and wants to work and wants to help you build your business, you don't want to work with that person. No, you want to sit there and say, oh, this guy's lazy, he's going to take my money. You buy into all these old stereotypes from things in the antebellum South that were made up by racists that basically were never true, because it was black people who built this country. It was black people who built everything in this country. Many of these people wouldn't even have businesses if it wasn't for black people. But the black man is the lazy one, and the black man is the incompetent one, and the black man is the one that they want to say, can't do anything. But they want to make it where they want to box the black man out, because they don't want to compete with the black man. They don't want to, compete in a system and, give a black man his due. And again, that's one of the reasons why I'm for reparations, because again, the current and ongoing discrimination, this is one of the things that, again, it affects our health. And again, I am a textbook example of what happens when it does affect your health. I mean, what happened to me is a textbook example of what happens when you go out here and, again, you can't find anything, you want to do things. And again, there's a lot of stuff that would make me upset about it, because I remember, my father, when he was alive, he wanted me to see me go back to work. He wanted to see me go back to work before he died. And that was something I wanted to do, but I could never do it because, these employers are just so pig-headed and so stuck on themselves and, stuck in their own racist views. And some of them are just stuck in their own stereotypes. I couldn't give my father his dying wish to see his son, be out here working. And I wanted to do that for him. I wanted to do that for him. And that's one of those things that, stays with me. Just stays with me, because he was so concerned, he was so concerned because he wanted to see me do better. And it would get to me. It really would get to me. So, And this heart attack, it's just one of those things that just got to me because he would work hard. He would work hard, and he had two open heart surgeries. I mean, he had it in a time where there were no stents. He had it at a time where there was no technology. And, that was from working himself hard. I mean, black men, a lot of us, when we're out here, a lot of people don't appreciate, the work that a brother does out here. They don't appreciate, the brothers who are out here, putting in that work. They don't appreciate us, out here handling business. I mean, a lot of us buy into this white supremacy, and we think, oh, well, this guy, he's not doing enough. It's like he can't be like that white guy. I talked about that and why 70% of black women are single. The black man, he can't be like that white man. He can't, go out here and make that money because people won't let him make that money. And this is a big problem, people, with a lot of black folks. We don't understand this. We don't understand, black men, we trying to go out here and make how we can make it. And again, I have had, some bad months over the last couple of years. I mean, I have had months with Amazon with only $10 book royalties because people weren't buying the books. I mean, I have had to, again, work at this frantic pace. And again, that frantic pace is one of the things that just, it affected my health. And I'm trying to get myself back, but I can't be like I used to. I mean, it's not going to be, if I do make content, it might be just, maybe one, maybe two videos or one or two live streams a week, because I have to, my doctors tell me that I can start exercising. So I have to exercise and, take walks and stuff as related to my recovery. And I also have medical appointments. So I'm not going to be able to, make those 14 to 16 videos a week like I used to. I'm not going to be able to, tackle heavy topics like I used to. I mean, I'm not going to be able to, be on the air like I used to. So this is, again, I'm dealing with a lot of major changes to my life, and I want everybody to know, I wanted to continue making content like I was, but the whole thing is I shouldn't have been making content like that, because I remember one of the goth girls I was talking to, I mean, she had a job and she was only making videos. Maybe she made like 2 videos a week. And usually that's what most people do. Most of the YouTubers, they make maybe 2 videos a week, maybe because they got jobs, they got other stuff to do. I mean, even the guys who don't have jobs like VTuned or Goon Squad, they only making like maybe 1-2 videos a week. But I was out here, making 14 because, again, of everything I had to deal with YouTube. I mean, YouTube really, again, I've always said this, they've always been, hostile to content creators. They're very, very cruel to content creators. I mean, those gold dollar signs really affect us. It really hurt us because you take our video off and we can't make any money on that, all because of petty little things like titles, or you use the wrong word, or it's like, I mean, you demonetize an entire video over one word. I mean, this is the stuff that, again, it stresses us out, and it makes things harder for us, and it makes it harder to create content, and doesn't even give us an incentive to even create content. That's what we have to deal with. And again, I mean, this is the stuff I've been dealing with, again, and I'm trying to get my health back to a good place. I mean, I have been eating a little bit better. I mean, I eat, my family's been making me oatmeal and stuff like that. I haven't been eating, a lot of the junk food I used to eat, and I'm trying to get myself stronger. I mean, it's a process, and it's a hard process that I'm going through right now, but I'm still trying, hang in there, still trying to, do things. And I wanted everybody to know, I'm still here. I'm still trying to make, content. I'm still trying to, but I won't be as much content because I have to focus on my health at this point. And because I have to focus, on my health at this point, you may not be getting as many videos as you used to. I mean, I did drop a comic review video because one of those comic creators, Nick Capone, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. I wanted him to know that his comic was good, and I wanted more people to know about his comic. So I took a minute to go make a comic review video for him and get the word out about his book. And I also, I want to make more content, but this is going to be a tough road for me coming up, and I don't know how long I'm going to be on it. So with this heart failure, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I'm going to try to be here as long as I can. And I'm hoping you guys will hang in there with me. I'm hoping you guys will be there with me. I mean, I know my room is a bit of a mess, but I had the Parkchester people come in. They had to fix a wall, and I'm not physically. I don't. They told me I could start exercising, but I'm not strong enough to, put the other things back, my desk and my bookcases back. So that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to wait to do to get myself strong enough so I can get my room back to the way it's supposed to look. But I'm still, trying to recover, still trying to get myself together, still trying to, trying to get over this whole situation. But it's not a situation you can really get over because, again, with heart failure, there is no getting over. I mean, there is a slight possibility you will be able to go back to full functionality, but that's a very slim chance. But I'm still, just trying to hang in there, still trying to stay in the game, and still trying to go out here. I mean, before I got sick, I had a plan. I wanted to make this video, this live stream, about that girl who killed the McDonald's manager. I was going to do a whole live stream. I may still try to do that whole live stream, where I was going to take the video and deconstruct it about this woman's behavior and show you how, why she wasn't job ready and what she was doing wrong. I still will try to do that live stream, but that's something I wanted to do, but I got sick, and again, I couldn't do anything. But I'm trying to get back here, and I will. It's not going to be like it was, yesterday, like it was when I was doing the 14. You guys were getting videos at 8 o'clock at night. You guys were getting videos at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Really, it's 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to, be consistent. I wanted to show my professionalism. I wanted to show, people that this is who I am as a man, that as I'm out here. And again, I wanted to be this professional who showed you, I'm one of those guys who will go out here and work, but you can't show somebody, something they don't want to see. And that's the tough thing that I've had to deal, except as related to the entire heart attack situation. Is I can't show you something that you don't want to see. I could have diamonds, I could have gold, but if you don't want the diamonds or the gold from me, and this is what I'm seeing when it comes to black men, if a black man has the diamonds and the gold, you don't want that. But if a white man or an illegal or anybody else has it, you want it. But, if you go out here and have something, you try to show him something, he doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to see it from you because they have their idea of you already in their heads. But the whole thing is, I have to continue to go on as long as I can, and that's what I'm trying to do, is go on as long as I can go on, and go on as long as I can, as God will let me. And I'm going to try to do that. And I'm hoping you guys will still, continue to watch the content, continue to watch the videos that I will try to make, either the videos or I'm not just be doing live streams, but I'm going to try to stay on the air as long as I can, and I'm going to try to do what I can. I mean, I know I haven't been on a lot. I know people have been looking for me for donations. I really appreciate that. I really want to thank all the people who dropped donations for me when they found out about my heart attack. I really want to thank all the people for the well wishes. I really want to thank everybody, for being there for me. It means a lot to me, and I really want to be there for you, and that's what I'm hoping to do. And eventually, I hope I can be able to, be out here continuing to make content like I'm doing right now, and be able to talk to you guys like I'm talking to you right now. I'm hoping I can, be able to continue, sharing things like I do as related to the workplace videos that have really, I've heard from so many brothers tell me that, that the workplace videos have helped them be able to keep their jobs. A lot of brothers tell me that, it helped them understand, what was going on. And I really want to continue making that content. Again, I want to do the live stream about that young lady who killed her McDonald's manager. I really want, because I wanted to go and insight and in depth and let you know, why this woman behaved the way she did. Because I worked with kids like this in the Strive Job Readiness program. I worked, with people like this. I made a video about it, but I wanted to do a live and follow up and really get you to understand, where they were coming from, and also, you know, where her behavior was wrong. This is where I wanted to go in depth on it. And maybe if I get a bit stronger, I will try to do that. I mean, it's something, I still have the footage, I still have everything. And again, this is something I want to do. And again, I really am trying to get back out here and get myself back together. I mean, this is as long as I've talked in a long time. And again, really want to thank everybody for coming out today and, you know, being here with me, all 66 of you. And I really appreciate everybody who comes out. You know, I hope you guys will be back for the next video or the next live. So I'm going to wrap things up and, you know, get back to, you know, trying to recover from this heart attack and this heart failure and trying to deal with this heart failure situation. I'm going to try to get everything back together. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be able to come back on, you know, either later this week or maybe next week. We'll see what happens as related to things. But I want to thank everybody, and I'm going to be trying to come back on the air soon.